This is a book about the mystery of why tragic things happen the way they do. So it seems fitting to introduce this book with one of the toughest why questions a person can ever face. Why did a woman's precious baby die in childbirth? Melanie's story. Several years ago, after delivering a sermon on living with passion, I was approached by Melanie, a distraught, middle-aged woman. "I have lost my passion for God and my joy in life," she said. "I used to be a fired-up Christian who poured herself into her faith, but now I feel nothing toward God and I'm always depressed. I used to run marathons, but now I'm a blimp. My husband and I used to be so close," she said, "but now we're almost total strangers. Church used to seem so exciting, but now it bores me to death. I used to love to read the Bible and pray, but now I find both laborious and aggravating. I just feel dead." Melanie desired the passion I preached about that Sunday. She wanted to know how to come alive again. After some conversation, I learned that Melanie's downward spiral began about 4 years earlier when she lost a baby in childbirth. As long as she could remember, Melanie had wanted to mother children. She didn't marry until her mid-30s, so to beat the biological clock, she and her husband immediately began trying to have a baby. After 3 years with no success, they discovered that, because of a medical condition, it was unlikely they would ever be able to conceive a child. Melanie's extreme disappointment was short-lived, however, for quite remarkably, Melanie conceived. "We thought it was a miracle," she told me. Her pregnancy went forward without incident, but her delivery had tragic complications. The umbilical cord was wrapped around her baby's neck, choking the child to death during the delivery. Their miracle had turned into a nightmare, and their life turned into one tormenting why question. Why would God miraculously give them a child, only to take the baby away while coming into the world? Why did this happen to them? Even more tormenting, why was God preventing them from conceiving again? Melanie's biological clock had all but wound down in the 4 years since the tragedy. After about 2 years of struggling with doubt and depression, Melanie and her husband sought answers to their questions from a Bible teacher she knew and respected. The answer they received was consistent with the theology she had grown up with. "God has reasons for everything," this teacher confidently told her. "There are no accidents in God's providence," he continued. "The Lord gives and the Lord takes away, and you just have to trust that God knows and always does what is best. The hand that smites is also the hand that heals. You just have to trust Him." When Melanie asked what good the Lord might have intended by taking her baby and now leaving her without a child, this teacher suggested there was a lesson she and her husband were to learn from the event. "When the timing is right, and God's timing is always right," he said, "and when you've learned what God wants to teach you, perhaps then God will bless you with another child," the teacher intoned. "Or perhaps it's simply not His will for you to have children." Melanie accepted this instruction as gospel truth. She felt guilty because she had difficulty trusting, quote, God's plan. She wanted me to help figure out what lesson God might have been trying to teach her. Maybe this would enable her to have a baby and get her life back on track.